is your shoe. What colour is it?
These are my shoes.
Are they new?
Yeah.
And what colour are they?
Pink.
Lovely.
The disappearance of Madeleine McCann is one of the most famous and perplexing missing person cases in modern history. On the evening of May 3, 2007, 3-year-old Madeleine vanished from her family's holiday apartment in Praia da Luz, Portugal. Despite extensive investigations, international media coverage, and multiple suspects over the years, her fate remains unknown. This case has sparked worldwide attention, fueled conspiracy theories, and raised crucial discussions about child safety, law enforcement procedures, and media influence. It has involved multiple law enforcement agencies, including the Portuguese police, the British Metropolitan Police, and private investigators hired by Madeleine's parents. The case remains active, with new leads still emerging years later. Madeleine Beth McCann was born on May 12, 2003, in Leicester, England, to Jerry and Kate McCann. She was the eldest child in the family, with younger twin siblings, Sean and Amelie. Described as an energetic, happy, and sociable child, Madeleine had distinctive features, including a small mark in her right eye that made her easily recognizable. At the time of her disappearance, Madeleine was just days away from her 4th birthday. She was on vacation with her parents, twin siblings, and a group of family friends, collectively known as the Tapas 7, at the Ocean Club Resort in Praia da Luz, a popular tourist destination in Portugal's Algarve region. On the evening of May 3, 2007, the McCanns and their friends followed their usual routine, dining at the resort's tapas restaurant while checking on their sleeping children at regular intervals. However, at around 10 p.m., Kate McCann discovered that Madeleine was missing from her bed. The bedroom window was open, and the shutters were raised, suggesting a possible abduction. Panic quickly set in, and a search for Madeleine began almost immediately. Resort staff and other guests assisted in looking for her, while the local police were called in. However, critical mistakes were made in the initial response, including a delayed lockdown of the crime scene, failure to secure potential evidence, and a lack of urgency in launching an immediate search operation. As the news spread, the case quickly gained massive international attention. British and Portuguese media covered the story extensively, with Madeleine's face appearing on newspapers, television broadcasts, and social media platforms worldwide. The McCanns launched a public campaign to find their daughter, raising millions of pounds in donations to fund private investigations. Several high-profile figures, including celebrities and politicians, supported the campaign, further increasing public interest. Despite numerous reported sightings and countless theories over the years, no definitive evidence has been found regarding what happened to Madeleine McCann. Investigations have considered multiple scenarios, including abduction, burglary gone wrong, accidental death, and even potential involvement by her parents, although no charges have ever been brought against them. The case has seen numerous leads, suspects, and arrests, but none have led to conclusive answers. In 2020, German authorities identified convicted pedophile Christian Bruckner as a prime suspect, claiming they had concrete evidence of Madeleine's death. However, no charges have been filed, and the case remains unsolved. Jerry and Kate McCann are British doctors who became widely known due to their daughter's disappearance. Kate McCann, née Healy, was born in 1968 in Liverpool, England. She studied medicine at the University of Dundee and later specialised in general practice. Jerry McCann was born in 1968 in Glasgow, Scotland, and pursued a career in cardiology, working as a consultant cardiologist at a hospital in Leicester. The McCanns married in 1998 and settled in Rothley, a quiet village in Leicestershire. They were known as a well-respected, middle-class family who valued their careers while maintaining a strong focus on family life. Madeleine McCann was a bright and lively child, described by her parents as curious, affectionate, and full of energy. She was particularly close to her younger twin siblings, Sean and Amelie, and enjoyed playing with them. Friends and family members recall her as an outgoing child with a love for the outdoors, animals, and storytelling. At home, Madeleine attended nursery school and was preparing to start full-time primary school later in the year. She was known for her distinctive features, particularly a rare coloboma in her right eye, a small defect in the iris that became a key identifier in media campaigns after her disappearance. In the spring of 2007, the McCanns planned a relaxing getaway to Praia da Luz, a popular but relatively quiet seaside resort in Portugal's Algarve region. They traveled with a group of close friends, all of whom had young children. The vacation was meant to be a break from their busy professional lives, allowing them to enjoy time with their children in a family-friendly environment. The Ocean Club Resort, where they stayed, was a well-known destination for British tourists. It offered various amenities, including kids' clubs, swimming pools, tennis courts, and dining areas. One of the appealing aspects for the group was the resort's childcare facilities, which provided parents with the opportunity to dine in the evenings while their children slept in nearby apartments. The McCanns followed a routine during their trip, spending their days at the beach, engaging in activities with their children, and having dinner at the resort's tapas restaurant in the evenings. However, this seemingly idyllic holiday would soon take a tragic turn, forever altering their lives and leaving the world with unanswered questions about what really happened to Madeleine McCann. The day began like any other for the McCanns and their friends. In the morning, Madeleine had breakfast with her family before heading to the Ocean Club's Kids Club, where she spent the morning playing with other children. The family reunited for lunch at their apartment, and in the afternoon, they enjoyed time by the resort's swimming pool. Around 5:30 p.m., Madeleine was last seen by a staff member at the Kids Club before returning to the apartment with her parents. That evening, the McCanns and their friends followed their usual routine, dining at the resort's tapas restaurant while taking turns checking on their sleeping children. The group, later referred to as the Tapas 7, sat at an outdoor table within sight of the apartments. However, by 10 p.m., everything changed when Kate McCann returned to check on the children and discovered that Madeleine was missing.
I still struggle to believe that this has happened to Madeleine. Even 4 years down the line.
Lying in my bed, I hear the clock ticking, think of you, turning in circles, confusion is nothing new.
We went to the Algarve in Portugal. Every night we had dinner at the nearby tapas restaurant. It was very close to our apartment. At 10 o'clock when I went back to check on the children, which we've been doing every half hour, just in case one of them had maybe woken up, I discovered that Madeleine had been taken. And I rushed out and screamed to the others who were sitting at the table that Madeleine had gone, that somebody had taken her.
I just had this utter sensation of disbelief, and I was saying they can't be gone, she can't be gone, she must be there. And Kate was screaming hysterically that she'd checked and she was gone and someone had taken her.
But it's just awful. I mean, all the time you're hoping that she's going to appear around the corner, but there's no scenario when someone takes your child that you can feel like it's going to be okay.
You're just thrown into this absolute nightmare. Terrifying ordeal. I think the worst thing that could happen to a parent.
When I imagine somebody lifting Madeleine out of a bed, and I imagine Madeleine at some point waking up, and it's so horrific that I just, your brain struggles to accept it as real, because it's so wrong. You just never expect anything as awful as that to happen to your child.
If you're lost, you can look and you will find me time after time.
On the night of May 3, 2007, at around 10 p.m., Kate McCann ran back to the Ocean Club apartment and found her daughter missing. Panic set in quickly, and within minutes, friends and resort staff were searching the area. However, there was no immediate lockdown of the crime scene, and the Portuguese police were not called until around 10:40 p.m. When officers from the Polícia Judiciária, PJ, arrived, they initially treated the case as a missing child rather than an abduction. This early assumption would later prove critical, as they failed to secure the apartment as a potential crime scene.
We screened the vehicles using the dog, and the only reaction we've had is to the car in the far corner. And what we had is a reaction from the dog over here, where his head's up in the air, and he's scenting the items that he's trained to find. And when we tie him down, he picks this car from this door. The important thing to realise is that he's picking the scent that's coming out through the seal of the door. Okay, what we've done is we've deployed the enhanced victim recovery dog into the apartment, and by experience and the training of the dog, what I've first noticed is that as soon as I came in, that the dog's very excited, and as a handler I can pick up his body language, etc. And it would appear to me that as soon as he's come in the house, he's picked up a scent that he recognises. The second dog that we've seen work today is the crime scene dog, Keela. She will only indicate to me when she's found human blood. At this point over here, where the victim recovery dog was indicated, as you saw on the video, the crime scene dog was actually giving me what we call a passive indication, where she freezes in this spot here, which would indicate to me that there is some human blood there. She will find blood that's historically very old, and she will find anybody's blood, any human blood, which is important to make sure that everybody knows. The fact that there's other scientific methods being used may stop you recovering any DNA, but if you try, we'll see what happens. But she is very, very good, and when she indicates, there is always blood there.
In the months following Madeleine McCann's disappearance, public sympathy for Kate and Jerry McCann began to shift, especially in Portugal. By September 2007, they were formally named arguidos, official suspects, a turning point in the case. Several factors contributed to this shift. Inconsistencies in their statements. Police noticed contradictions between the McCann's accounts and those of their friends, the Tapas 7. For example, the timeline of the group's dinner routine and the reported checks on the children raised doubts. Lack of a break-in. There were no signs of forced entry in the apartment, leading investigators to consider the possibility of an accidental death and cover-up. Kate's reaction. Some officers found Kate McCann's behavior unusual. Reports claimed she was calm at times when they expected her to be distressed. However, supporters argue that grief manifests differently in individuals. Authorities reportedly pressured Kate McCann to confess that Madeleine had died in an accident and that the parents disposed of her body. She refused. By July 2008, after failing to find solid evidence against the McCanns, Portuguese prosecutors dropped their arguido status and archived the case. This theory remains one of the most polarizing aspects of the case, with some believing the McCanns were wrongly accused, while others suspect a cover-up. One of the most controversial aspects of the investigation was the use of British cadaver dogs in August 2007. A specially trained cadaver dog, Eddie, alerted to the scent of a dead body in apartment 5A, the McCann's rental car, and Kate McCann's clothing. A blood detection dog, Keela, also reacted in the same areas. Police found traces of DNA in the McCann's rental car, which they had only hired weeks after Madeleine disappeared. However, the forensic evidence was inconclusive. The DNA analysis by the UK's Forensic Science Service, FSS, could not 100% confirm that the samples belonged to Madeleine. The defense argued that cadaver dogs are not scientifically foolproof, and their reactions do not constitute direct evidence. On the night of May 3, 2007, at approximately 9:15 p.m., Jane Tanner, a friend of the McCanns, reported seeing a mysterious man carrying a child near apartment 5A. The man was described as white, slim, between 5 feet 7 inches and 5 feet 10 inches, with dark hair, wearing beige trousers and a dark top. He was carrying a child in his arms, barefoot and dressed in light-colored pajamas, matching Madeleine's description. At the time, this was considered the strongest lead in the investigation. Years later, however, British police identified the man as a British tourist carrying his own daughter from the resort's night creche. This revelation eliminated the Tanner sighting as a lead, meaning investigators had focused on the wrong suspect for years. Later on May 3, 2007, at around 10 p.m., an Irish family, the Smiths, saw another mystery man carrying a child near the Praia da Luz beach. The child looked like Madeleine, with blonde hair and pale skin. The man was described as around 35 to 40 years old, slim, with short brown hair, wearing a light-colored shirt and dark trousers. The way he carried the child seemed unusual. Her arms and legs were limp, suggesting she might have been unconscious. This sighting gained major significance years later when the Smith family said the man closely resembled Jerry McCann. However, no evidence ever linked Jerry to the sighting, and no further leads emerged. One of the most significant recent developments in the case came in 2020, when German authorities named Christian Bruckner as their prime suspect. He had a history of breaking into holiday homes and abducting children. His phone records placed him near Praia da Luz on the night of May 3, 2007. He bragged to a friend about abducting a child. He owned a camper van, suspected of being used for kidnappings. German authorities believe Madeleine is dead and claim to have evidence linking him to the crime, but they have not publicly released it. Despite these allegations, no solid proof has directly tied Bruckner to Madeleine's disappearance, and he has not been charged in connection with the case. Over 17 years, multiple theories and suspects have emerged, but none have provided a definitive answer. The Smith sighting remains one of the most credible leads, while Christian Bruckner is the most recent suspect under investigation. However, until concrete evidence surfaces, Madeleine's fate remains one of the biggest mysteries of our time. 17 years. 17 years of questions with no answers. 17 years of a family searching, hoping, and waiting, while the world watches, divided between hope and heartbreak. Madeleine McCann was just 3 years old when she disappeared, and in all these years, no one has been able to say for certain what happened to her. Was she taken by a stranger? Lost in the shadows of a world too cruel to imagine? Or has the truth been right in front of us all along, just out of reach? No matter how many theories emerge, one thing remains unchanged: a little girl vanished, and the world still doesn't know why. Her story is more than a mystery. It's a reminder of the fragility of life, the persistence of love, and the power of unanswered questions. Until the truth is found, Madeleine's name will never be forgotten.